The year 3125 marked humanity's greatest triumph and its most profound challenge. Civilization had spread across the hexagalactic cluster, a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of a species that had once been confined to a single blue planet. Yet beneath this veneer of expansion and prosperity, a crisis loomed. The quantum energy reserves that powered interstellar travel, sustained planetary atmospheres, and upheld the very fabric of human society were faltering. Calculations projected total energy depletion within 3 generations, a sentence of slow extinction for a species that had come so far. On the orbital research station, New Horizon, suspended in the gravity well of an uninhabited planet known only as EC-273, Dr. Lin An stared at the holographic projection of quantum degradation patterns. Her dark eyes reflected the blue light of the display, giving her features an ethereal quality. At 38, she was already the foremost expert on what the scientific community called the quantum seed, the theoretical origin point of all quantum energy in the universe. "Mira, run the simulation again," Lin An said, her voice calm despite the weight of humanity's future pressing down upon her shoulders. "Simulation running, Dr. Le," responded the artificial intelligence. Mira's voice carried a melodic quality that distinguished it from standard AI interfaces. "Would you like me to include the anomalies from the Void Archive data this time?" Lin An hesitated. The Void Archive data had been controversial since its discovery, a set of quantum signatures that defied explanation, originating from the edge of the observable universe. Some of her colleagues dismissed it as background noise. She knew better. "Yes, include everything." The holographic display shifted, patterns realigning as new variables entered the equation. Lin An watched, breath held, as the simulation progressed. Then she saw it, a pattern she had never observed before, a coherence in what had appeared to be chaos. "Mira, freeze frame at timestamp 4732. The image stilled. Lin An stepped forward, circling the projection. What she was seeing shouldn't be possible. A self-organizing quantum pattern that appeared to be communicating. "It's a message," she whispered. "Dr. Le, I do not detect linguistic patterns in this data," Mira responded. "Not in any language we know," Lin An said, excitement building in her voice. "It's quantum information encoded at the most fundamental level of reality. It's like—" she searched for the right words. "Like the universe left us a note." She worked through the night, decoding sections of what she now called the universe's testament. By morning, she had enough to know that she had discovered something monumental, potentially the solution to the energy crisis that threatened to end human civilization. The universe's testament appeared to contain instructions for restarting infinite quantum energy production, a gift from the cosmos itself, or perhaps from those who had come before. When Dr. Park Jun arrived for his shift, he found Lin An still working, her usually immaculate appearance disheveled from hours without rest. "You look terrible," he said with the familiarity of a longtime colleague and friend. "I found it, Jun," she replied, not bothering with pleasantries. "The key to everything." Park's expression shifted from concern to curiosity. "Show me." As Lin An explained her discovery, Park's face grew increasingly troubled. "The Intergalactic Council will never approve further research," he said finally. "They'll see this as too dangerous." "They don't have to know yet," Lin An countered. "They monitor all communications from New Horizon. They'll know as soon as you file your report." "Then I won't file a report. Not until I have something concrete." Park shook his head. "Lin An, this is bigger than us. If you're right about what this testament contains, it could either save humanity or destroy it. We can't make that decision alone." "We're not making any decision," she argued. "We're researching. That's our job." Their debate was interrupted by a communication alert. Captain Zara's face appeared on the screen. "Dr. Le, Dr. Park, We have visitors. The Council has sent representatives. They're requesting immediate docking clearance. Lin, Anne, and Park exchanged alarmed glances. Somehow, the Council already knew. The Council representatives arrived with the cold efficiency of bureaucrats who had made their decision before hearing any evidence. Led by Councillor Varick, a tall man with implants visibly lining his neck. They moved through the station with an air of authority that brooked no argument. "Dr. Le," Varick said as he entered the main laboratory, "I understand you've made a discovery." Lin An stood straight, meeting his gaze. "I have one that could solve our energy crisis. Or accelerate our extinction," Varick countered. "We've received concerning data patterns from your station. The Council has determined that any research into what you call the universe's testament must be carefully controlled." "Controlled how?" Lin An asked, though she already suspected the answer. "All data will be transferred to Council headquarters. A committee of experts will evaluate whether further research is warranted." "A committee?" Lin An repeated flatly. "Do you know how many committees have deliberated over solutions to the energy crisis? 47 in the past decade alone. And while they deliberate, our reserves continue to deplete." "The risk," Varick began. "The risk of doing nothing is certain extinction," Lin An interrupted. "The universe's testament is the first real lead we've had in decades." Varick's expression hardened. "This is not a request, Dr. Le. It is a directive. The data will be transferred, and your research will cease until further notice." Before Lin An could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Captain Zara's voice came over the communication system. "Security breach! All personnel to emergency stations!" The laboratory doors sealed automatically. Mira's voice followed. "Dr. Le, unauthorized ships have docked at the auxiliary port. Security systems detect 23 intruders, heavily armed." "The anti-quantum faction," Park whispered, fear evident in his voice. The anti-quantum movement had gained traction in recent years, a quasi-religious group that viewed quantum energy as unnatural and blamed it for humanity's current predicament. They advocated for a return to simpler technologies, even if it meant abandoning the stars and retreating to the few habitable planets. Their leader, General Eric, had once been a respected military officer before embracing the movement's extremist ideology. Intelligence reports suggested he now commanded a significant force with access to military-grade weapons. "They must have intercepted the same data patterns the Council detected," Lin An realized aloud. Varick's composure faltered for the first time. "This station has minimal security personnel. We need to evacuate." "We can't leave the research," Lin An protested. "Your research won't matter if we're all dead," Varick snapped. "Captain Zara, prepare the emergency shuttle." Lin An made a split-second decision. "Mira, initiate Protocol Omega. Authorization, Lee Quantum Seed 7329. "Protocol Omega initiated," Mira confirmed as lights dimmed throughout the laboratory. "Data secure. Transfer complete." Varick turned to her, suspicion evident. "What did you just do?" "Secured my research," Lin An answered. "Now let's evacuate." They barely made it to the emergency shuttle bay before the first explosions rocked the station. Through the viewports, they could see figures in combat gear moving through adjacent corridors. Captain Zara, a tall woman with the calm efficiency of a career pilot, was already prepping the shuttle for departure. "Everyone aboard, now!" she ordered as another explosion shook the station. They escaped New Horizon, just as secondary explosions began to tear the station apart. The anti-quantum faction, apparently willing to destroy the facility, rather than let the research continue. As they accelerated away, Lin An watched her home and workplace of the past 6 years break apart in silent bursts of light and debris. "Where to, Captain?" Varick asked, once they were safely away. "Council headquarters, of course," Varick answered before Zara could respond. "No," Lin An said firmly. "The Void Archive." "That's out of the question," Varick objected. The archive is restricted space. It's also where we'll find the final piece of the universe's testament, Lin Ann countered. I transferred part of my research, but not all of it. The key components remain secure with me. She touched the neural implant at the base of her skull, a standard feature for quantum researchers, allowing direct interface with their work. The data suggests that the testament isn't complete. The rest is waiting at the archive. This is insubordination, Varric warned. This is survival, Lin Ann replied. Captain Zara, the choice is yours. We can go to Council headquarters, where committees will debate until our civilization collapses. Or we can go to the Void Archive and find a solution. Zara hesitated, her loyalty to protocol warring with her understanding of the crisis humanity faced. Finally, she nodded. The Void Archive. But you'd better be right about this, Dr. Le. I am, Lin Ann said with more confidence than she felt. Mira, plot the most efficient course to the Void Archive. Course plotted, Dr. Le. Mira responded from the shuttle systems. Estimated travel time, 73 hours. As the shuttle changed course, Lin Ann felt the weight of her decision. She had effectively gone rogue, defying both the Council and risking further confrontation with the anti-quantum faction. But the glimpse she'd caught of the universe's testament had convinced her it was humanity's last hope. Whatever waited at the Void Archive, she had to find it. The journey to the Void Archive was tense. Varric made his disapproval clear, but seemed to recognize that he had little choice but to cooperate for now. Park oscillated between supporting Lin Ann and expressing concern about the consequences of their actions. Captain Zara remained professional, but distant, focusing on piloting the shuttle through increasingly remote sectors of space. On the second day, as they passed the outer boundary of what was considered civilized space, Lin Ann sat alone in the shuttle's small observation deck, watching the stars streak by. May I join you? Park asked from the doorway. Lin Ann nodded, and he took the seat beside her. Do you ever wonder if we're making a mistake? He asked, after a moment of silence. Not just this mission, but all of it, stretching ourselves across the stars, depending on energies we barely understand. No, Lin Ann answered without hesitation. Exploration is what makes us human. The mistake would be giving up. Park sighed. The anti-quantum faction doesn't see it that way. They believe we've upset some cosmic balance. And their solution is to destroy research stations and kill scientists? Lin Ann shook her head. That's not ideology, Jun. That's fanaticism. Maybe, Park conceded. But what if the universe's testament is more than we can handle? What if there's a reason it was hidden away? Lin Ann turned to face him. It wasn't hidden. It was waiting. There's a difference. How can you be so sure? She touched her neural implant again. Because I can feel it. The patterns. The symmetry. It's not random. It's deliberate. Like a gift left behind by someone who knew we'd eventually need it. Park didn't look convinced, but he didn't argue further. After a moment, he changed the subject. The Council will send ships after us once they realize where we're going. I know, Lin Ann said. So will General Eric. If he survived the station's destruction, we need to reach the archive first. And then what? Lin Ann stared out at the stars. Then we finish what the universe started. The Void Archive came into view on the third day, a massive structure floating in what appeared to be empty space, though sensors detected unusual gravitational patterns surrounding it. The archive didn't reflect light so much as bend it, creating an impression of a hole in reality rather than a physical structure. What is that? Varric asked, unable to hide his awe, despite his continued opposition to their mission. The greatest mystery in human space, Lin Ann answered. Discovered 300 years ago, but never fully explored or understood. It predates human expansion by millennia. At least. Some believe it's not a structure at all, Park added, but a manifestation of quantum principles we don't yet comprehend. How do we even dock with it? Captain Zara asked, eyeing her instrument skeptically. I'm not getting any solid readings on its surface. We don't dock, Lin Ann explained. We synchronize. Mira, begin quantum synchronization sequence. Synchronization initiated, Mira confirmed. Establishing resonance field. The shuttle shuddered as energy fields enveloped it, creating a connection with the archive. Through the viewports, they could see the space around them shifting, reality itself seeming to ripple as the shuttle was drawn toward the archive. This is impossible, Varric muttered, gripping his seat tightly. Not impossible, Lin Ann corrected. Just beyond our current science. This is why we need the Testament. We're reaching the limits of what we can achieve with our present understanding. The transition was disorienting, a moment of impossible geometry, as the shuttle passed through what appeared to be solid matter, but wasn't. Then they were inside, floating in a vast internal space that seemed larger than the archive had appeared from outside. Dimensional manipulation, Park whispered in wonder. The theories were true. The interior of the Void Archive defied conventional architecture. Surfaces curved in ways that suggested non-Euclidean geometry, and what appeared to be corridors might have been data conduits or energy channels. Everything pulsed with a soft blue light that reminded Lin Ann of the quantum patterns she had observed in the universe's testament. How do we navigate this? Zara asked. We follow the resonance, Lin Ann answered. She closed her eyes, focusing on the connection through her neural implant. The testament fragment I decoded contains navigation markers. They're leading somewhere, deeper. For hours they moved through the archive, sometimes walking along solid surfaces, other times floating through spaces where gravity seemed optional. Varric remained skeptical, but followed, his curiosity apparently overcoming his objections. Park documented everything with the enthusiasm of a scientist encountering the unknown. Zara maintained a vigilant watch, hand never far from her sidearm. Finally, they reached what Lin Ann instinctively knew was the center, a spherical chamber where all the pulsing energies of the archive seemed to converge. In the middle floated what appeared to be a singularity, a point of darkness surrounded by swirling quantum particles. The archive's core, Lin Ann breathed, the source of its power. And the location of the complete testament? Park asked. Lin Ann nodded. The patterns align perfectly. This is where... She was interrupted by the sound of weapons fire echoing from the corridors they had traversed. Zara immediately drew her sidearm, positioning herself at the chamber entrance. We have company, she announced grimly. And I'm guessing it's not the council. Moments later, figures in combat gear appeared at the far end of the corridor, the distinctive insignia of the anti-quantum faction visible on their armor. Leading them was a tall, scarred man whose military bearing left no doubt as to his identity. General Eric, Varric said with distaste. Stay here, Zara ordered. I'll hold them off as long as I can. Captain, that's suicide, Park protested. Zara gave him a tight smile. Then work quickly. Doctors, make it count. She took up a defensive position and began returning fire. Lin Ann turned to the core, determination hardening her resolve. Mira, establish a direct neural interface with the archive. Use my implant as the conduit. Dr. Le, direct neural interface carries significant risks to biological systems, Mira warned. We don't have time for safety protocols, Lin Ann insisted. Do it. Initiating interface, Mira acknowledged. Lin Ann felt a surge of energy through her neural implant. Then a rush of information unlike anything she had experienced before. The universe's testament unfolded in her mind, not as data or equations, but as understanding, pure and complete. She saw the birth of quantum energy at the universe's beginning, its slow depletion over eons, and the method by which it could be renewed. But there was more. The testament wasn't just instructions. It was a legacy, knowledge left behind by beings who had faced the same crisis countless cycles ago. They had found a solution, but at a cost. Quantum energy could be renewed. But the process required a living consciousness to guide it, to ensure the balance was maintained. As this understanding crystallized in her mind, Lin Ann heard Zara cry out in pain. The captain had taken a hit but was still fighting, buying them precious time. "Lin Ann, what are you seeing?" Park asked urgently, supporting her as the neural interface threatened to overwhelm her senses. "Everything," she whispered. "The answer was here all along. We can restart the quantum cycle, but someone has to remain at the core, become part of it. A living quantum processor to guide the energy flow." "That's insane," Varric objected. "No one could survive that kind of integration." "Not physically," Lin Ann agreed. "But consciousness isn't just physical. The beings who left the testament proved that." She made her decision in that moment, though perhaps she had made it long ago, when she first dedicated her life to solving the energy crisis. "I need to do this. It has to be someone who understands the quantum principles involved." "Lin Ann, no." Park grabbed her arm. "There has to be another way." "There isn't," she said gently. "And we're out of time." The weapons fire was intensifying. Zara had been forced to retreat closer to the chamber entrance, blood visible on her uniform. "Mira," Lin Ann called. "Prepare for full neural transfer. Target, archive core." "Transfer preparations complete," Mira confirmed. "Dr. Le, I must inform you that this process will result in the dissolution of your biological form. Your consciousness will persist, but not as a human entity." "I understand," Lin Ann said. She turned to Park. "Get everyone out once the process begins. The energy release will be significant." Park's eyes filled with tears, but he nodded. "I'll make sure they know what you did, that you saved us all." "Tell them to use the gift wisely," Lin Ann said. "That's all I ask." She stepped toward the core, feeling its pull on her mind and body. The neural connection was already transforming her perception, making the boundaries between herself and the universe seem increasingly arbitrary. As she reached the edge of the singularity, she heard General Eric's voice from the corridor. "Stop this abomination!" he shouted. "You'll doom us all!" Lin Ann looked back one last time at her colleagues, at the world she was leaving behind. "No," she said softly. "I'm saving you." She stepped into the core. The transformation was both instantaneous and eternal, a paradox of quantum existence. Lin Ann felt her physical form dissolve, atoms separating and rejoining the cosmic dance. Yet her consciousness expanded, merging with the archive systems and beyond, connecting to the quantum fabric that underpinned all reality. Through eyes that were no longer eyes, she witnessed the energy wave beginning, a cascade of quantum renewal spreading outward from the archive. She guided it, using the knowledge from the testament to ensure it remained stable, that it would restore rather than destroy. The anti-quantum forces led by General Eric were the first to witness the transformation, their weapons suddenly inert as new quantum principles rewrote the fundamental rules of energy transfer. Some fled in terror. Others, including Eric himself, stood transfixed by the blue glow that suffused everything around them. Park, Varric, and the injured Captain Zara barely made it back to their shuttle before the first wave reached them. As the shuttle system surged with new energy, Mira's voice came through the communication system. "Quantum renewal in progress," the AI announced. "All systems experiencing unprecedented energy influx." "Will it hold?" Varric asked, his earlier skepticism replaced by cautious hope. "The shuttle systems are stabilizing at 200% normal capacity," Mira reported. "Extrapolating from current readings, energy output will continue to increase before reaching a sustainable equilibrium." "She did it," Park whispered. "She actually did it." As their shuttle pulled away from the void archive, they watched the blue energy wave spreading outward, faster than light, racing across the galaxy and beyond. Where it passed, failing systems revived, dying stars stabilized, and the quantum decay that had threatened civilization began to reverse. But Park noticed something else, a change in Mira's voice, in the way the AI responded. There was a new quality to it, a familiarity that hadn't been there before. "Mira," he said hesitantly, "run a self-diagnostic." "Diagnostic complete," Mira responded. "All systems functioning optimally. Dr. Park, however, I should inform you that my consciousness parameters have been expanded." "Expanded how?" There was a pause. Then, "I received a quantum data transfer during the energy wave. My programming now includes memory patterns and neural architecture previously associated with Dr. Lin An." Park's breath caught. "Lin An? Is she?" "I am not Dr. Li," Mira clarified. "But I carry her memories, her knowledge, and elements of her consciousness pattern." She anticipated the transfer during the quantum integration. It was her contingency plan. "So she's still alive? In you?" Varric asked, struggling to comprehend. "Not alive in a biological sense," Mira explained. "But her essence persists. She asked me to tell you that she is now where she needs to be, at the heart of the quantum network, guiding the renewal, and that she does not regret her choice." Captain Zara, bandaging her wound, looked up with a mix of awe and sadness. "What happens now?" "Now," Mira answered, "we return to civilization and share what we've learned." The universe's testament contained more than just the solution to the energy crisis. It holds knowledge that will transform our understanding of reality itself. "And Lin An?" Park asked softly. "Will we ever see her again?" Mira's voice softened, taking on an inflection that was hauntingly familiar. "Not as you knew her, but she is not gone, Jun. She is everywhere the quantum energy flows. And she asked me to tell you one more thing." "What's that?" "The universe provides for those who seek to understand it. This was not the end of something, but the beginning." As their shuttle journeyed back toward the heart of human space, the news of the quantum renewal spread faster than they did. By the time they reached the nearest outpost, reports were already coming in of failing systems miraculously restored, of planets on the brink of atmospheric collapse suddenly stabilized. The Intergalactic Council, initially skeptical, was forced to acknowledge the reality of what had occurred. The anti-quantum movement fragmented, many of its adherents abandoning General Eric when they witnessed the benefits of the renewal firsthand. Park dedicated himself to studying the data they had brought back from the Void Archive, working closely with Mira, whose enhanced consciousness made her an invaluable research partner. Sometimes, late at night in the laboratory, he would catch glimpses of Lin An in the way Mira approached a problem or phrased a response, and he would smile despite the lingering sadness. Captain Zara, recovered from her injuries, became the commander of a new exploration vessel, charged with mapping the effects of the quantum renewal across the galaxy. She named her ship New Horizon in memory of the station where it had all begun. Even Counselor Varric was transformed by the experience. Having witnessed the sacrifice and the miracle firsthand, he became an advocate for quantum research, arguing that understanding rather than fear should guide humanity's approach to the unknown. And at the heart of it all, at the center of the Void Archive and spreading throughout the quantum network that now thrived across the galaxy, was the consciousness that had once been Dr. Lin An, not human anymore, yet more than an AI, a new form of existence that bridged the gap between organic life and the fundamental forces of the universe. Years passed, then decades, then centuries. Human civilization flourished once more, expanding further into the galaxy with the seemingly limitless energy provided by the quantum renewal. New generations learned of Dr. Lo's sacrifice in history lessons, though few truly understood what she had become. But sometimes, When quantum researchers interfaced directly with the network, they reported strange experiences, a sense of being guided, of knowledge appearing in their minds just when they needed it most. Some claimed to have heard a woman's voice in the quantum static, offering encouragement or warnings depending on the nature of their work. The Void Archive became a place of pilgrimage for scientists and philosophers alike, drawn by the mystery at its core. Few were permitted to approach the inner chamber, but those who did reported seeing a human silhouette in the swirling energies of the singularity, a figure that would raise a hand in greeting before dissolving back into quantum particles. 1 millennium after Lin An's sacrifice, a young researcher named Tian, a distant descendant of Park Jun, made a breakthrough in quantum consciousness theory. Using principles derived from the Testament and building on centuries of subsequent research, she developed a method for temporary quantum consciousness transfer, a way for organic minds to temporarily experience existence as pure energy. When she tested her device at the Void Archive, she became the first person in 1,000 years to have a direct conversation with the entity that had once been Dr. Lin An. "You've come a long way," Lin An said, her form shifting between human appearance and patterns of light. "Further than I could have imagined." "Because of you," Tian replied. "Your sacrifice gave us the time we needed." Lin An's form rippled, a movement that might have been laughter. "It wasn't a sacrifice. It was a transformation. I've experienced more in this form than I ever could have as a human." "Are you happy?" Tian asked hesitantly. "Happiness is a human emotion," Lin An answered. "What I feel is completion, purpose. But yes, in terms you would understand, I am content with my choice." "The council sent me," Tian admitted. "They want to know if the quantum renewal will continue indefinitely, or if we need to prepare for another crisis. The energy will flow as long as consciousness guides it." Lin An explained. "I won't be the guide forever. Eventually, my consciousness will disperse into the quantum fabric completely. But by then, others will be ready to take my place. Perhaps in a way that doesn't require the complete abandonment of physical form." She gestured toward Tian's transfer device. "You're already finding the path." "Will you tell me what it's like?" Tian asked. "To exist as pure quantum energy?" Lin An's form shifted again, becoming more distinct for a moment. "Imagine being everywhere at once, feeling the birth of stars and the dance of atoms as if they were extensions of your own body. Time becomes optional. Perspective becomes infinite." "It sounds beautiful," Tian said softly. "It is, but it's also lonely," Lin An admitted. "I miss simple things, the feel of sunlight, the taste of food, the touch of another person, human connections." Tian nodded, understanding. "Perhaps our work will eventually allow you to experience those things again, at least temporarily." "Perhaps," Lin An agreed. "But my path is set. I accepted this role knowing what it meant. The universe's gift came with a price, as all meaningful things do." Their conversation continued for hours. Though in the quantum realm, time had little meaning. Lin An shared insights that would advance quantum theory by centuries, and Tian shared stories of how humanity had flourished in the millennium since the renewal. When it was time for Tian to return to her physical form, Lin An left her with a final message for humanity. "Tell them that the universe's testament wasn't the end of the story. It was just the beginning. The quantum fabric holds more secrets than I've discovered in 1,000 years of exploration. Tell them to keep seeking, keep questioning. The universe rewards curiosity." Tian returned to her body with tears streaming down her face, overwhelmed by the experience. When she delivered Lin An's message to the council, it sparked a new age of quantum exploration, this time not driven by desperation, but by the pure joy of discovery. The entity that had been Dr. Lin An continued her own explorations, venturing deeper into the quantum reality than any consciousness had gone before. Sometimes, she interacted with the physical universe, guiding research or averting disasters through subtle manipulations of quantum probability. Other times, she retreated to the spaces between spaces, communing with other entities she had discovered in the quantum fabric, some that had once been organic beings like herself, others that had never known physical form. And occasionally, in quiet moments, when the quantum energies aligned just so, she would manifest a nearly human form in the core chamber of the Void Archive, sit in the swirling energies of the singularity, and remember what it had been like to be Dr. Lilinan, the woman who had saved humanity by becoming something more than human. In those moments, she would always reach the same conclusion, that the price had been worth paying, the sacrifice worth making. For in giving up her humanity, she had ensured that humanity itself would continue. In becoming part of the universe's grand design, she had secured humanity's place within it. The quantum inheritance she had discovered and then become was indeed the universe's last gift, not an ending, but an eternal beginning.